Many modern societies operate like a ledger. We have organized our legal systems and our social interactions around the concept of the contract, the expectation that every party receives exactly what they are legally owed, and nothing more. This framework has a specific side effect. It creates a defensive environment. When people focus exclusively on their own rights, they rarely yield a single inch to others. The result is often a society that functions efficiently on paper, but feels cold and divided in practice. Strict justice is necessary to prevent chaos. We need it to stop exploitation. But as a complete way to live, it doesn't provide the warmth or the common purpose required to keep a community united. 1,400 years ago, a single sentence identified this social friction and proposed a set of principles to reorganize how human communities function. This text is verse 90 from Surah An-Nahl. In 7th century Makkah, it was received as a code for a new social order, one that aimed to move beyond the tribal hierarchies of the time. It argued that while laws can force people to comply with one another, a society requires a commitment to values that exist above the legal minimum. To see why this was necessary, look at the historical setting of Makkah. It was a city governed by tribal loyalty rather than universal rights, where the protection a person received depended almost entirely on their status or family name. The verse first commands adl, or justice. In this context, adl is the equitable dispensation of rights. It requires that every person, regardless of their wealth or tribe, received what is precisely due to them without hindrance. Justice acts as the mandatory floor. It stops systemic exploitation and prevents a society from collapsing into internal conflict. But the verse immediately pairs this with ihsan, or excellence. If justice provides the structure for a society, ihsan provides life. Ihsan is the choice to act beyond the letter of the law. It is the willingness to take a little less than you are entitled to, and to give more than is required. It is a transition from acting out of legal obligation to acting out of empathy. You can think of justice as a rigid foundation. It provides a level surface, but it remains hard and unyielding. Ihsan is the material that fills the gaps between those blocks. It binds a collection of individuals together into a cohesive, supportive community. Justice prevents the bitterness of discord, but excellence adds the sweetness that makes social life sustainable over the long term. Translating these ideals into everyday life requires a specific method of operation. The verse introduces a third command, itai dhil qurba, which translates to giving to kinship. This creates a decentralized social safety net. Rather than relying on a distant state to manage every hardship, it places the primary responsibility for supporting the vulnerable on their own extended family. It addresses economic need at the community level. To protect this structure, the verse also forbids 3 specific behaviors: fasha, which refers to public and private immorality; munkar, or recognized evil; and baghi, which is tyrannical oppression. By combining these commands and prohibitions, the text attempts to solve social friction at every level, from economic stability in the home to the prevention of systemic corruption in the state. In the 8th century, Caliph Umar ibn Abd al-Aziz integrated this verse into his state's governance. He saw it as a summary of the entire ethical framework of the religion. Because of that historical precedent, these few words are recited at the end of almost every Muslim Friday sermon around the world to this day. We struggle with modern ethical crises because we try managing human behavior through rigid regulations alone. Surah An-Nahl suggests that a society can only sustain itself when the strictness of justice is paired with the restorative influence of excellence. Order provides the foundation, but kindness provides the purpose. To build a human community, we cannot stop at merely demanding what is legally owed. We have to consider what we can generously give.